I wish to make an important announcement to the nation. This morning, I have been informed by the Minister for Energy that our country has made a major breakthrough in our oil exploration.
Kenya has oil, billions of shillings worth of oil, but today, two powerful men are fighting over it. President William Ruto says this deal will change Kenya's economy. On the other side, Edwin Sifuna says it could be one of the biggest betrayals in our history.
I want to tell Kenyans this is going to be the biggest scandal this country has ever seen. Biggest corruption scandal this country has ever seen.
So the question is Turkana Oil Kenya's future or Kenya's next scandal? And more importantly, who really benefits? Let me start with a simple fact. Kenya has oil. Not rumors, not theories, actual, proven oil reserves in Turkana County. For over a decade, Kenyans have been promised that this oil will transform the country. Jobs, development, revenue, a future powered by our own resources. But today, instead of celebration, there is tension. Instead of unity, there is disagreement. President William Ruto says Kenya is finally moving forward, while Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna says this oil deal could be one of the most dangerous agreements Kenya has ever signed. So, the question is not whether Kenya has oil. The real question is who will benefit from Turkana oil and at what cost? First, let's know how Turkana oil was discovered. Oil was discovered in Turkana's South Lokichar Basin over 10 years ago. At the time, expectations were huge. Turkana is one of Kenya's most marginalized regions. Poor infrastructure, high poverty levels, frequent insecurity. Oil was supposed to change that all. The first company involved was Turkana Oil alongside partners. Test oil was exported. Press conferences were held. Politicians made promises. But year after year, production delayed followed. Cost rose, global oil price fluctuated, and eventually, Turkana Oil exited. This is important because when a major international company exits an oil project, it raises one big question. Was the project no longer profitable, or was something else going on?
Because Yvonne, you have a situation where the operator or the oil company that has been given the go-ahead to do this FDP, you see changes in its ownership within a matter of days before the FDP is approved by the Ministry of Energy. You see changes in the original contract to push the cost recovery rate from 65% to actually 55% to 85%.
To understand the current controversy, we need to talk about something called a Field Development Plan, or FDP. An FDP is not a speech. It's not politics. It's a technical, legal document. It answers critical questions. How will oil be extracted? Who pays the costs? How much can companies recover before sharing profits? What does the government get? What do local communities get? Without an FDP, commercial oil production cannot begin. Recently, the Kenyan government tabled a revised FDP for Turkana oil. And this is where Edwin Sifuna entered the conversation. Let's be fair and balanced. From the government's point of view, the argument is clear. Oil projects are expensive. They require billions in investment, infrastructure, security, technology. Investors will not come unless the environment is attractive. The government says Kenya has delayed oil production for too long. This new plan unlocks stalled development. Without compromise, Turkana oil may never be produced. In simple terms, the government is saying, no investor will put money into Turkana unless we make the deal viable. On paper, this argument makes sense, but documents don't exist in a vacuum. Edwin Sifuna did not just oppose the deal emotionally. He focused on patterns, timing, and structure. First issue, ownership changes.
You see changes in its ownership within a matter of days before the FDP is approved by the Ministry of Energy. You see changes in the original contract to push the cost recovery rate from 65% to actually 55% to 85%.
The company meant to develop Turkana Oil changed hands quietly and quickly. Ownership restructuring is not illegal, but in sensitive national resources, it demands transparency. Second issue, cost recovery changes. In oil contracts, companies recover their investments first before their profits are shared. The revised FDP significantly increased the percentage companies can recover before Kenya earns meaningful revenue. This means Kenya waits longer, communities wait longer, profits are delayed. And third issue, local content laws exist to ensure Kenyan jobs, Kenyan suppliers, skills transfer. Sifuna argues that the current structure weakens these protections. His concern is that Kenya may produce oil but earn very little from it. Now, let's slow down here, because this is the heart of the issue. Oil companies spend money upfront. They drill, they build infrastructure, they transport oil. They are allowed to recover those costs. But here's the danger. If cost recovery is too high and loosely monitored, costs can be inflated, recovery can be dragged for years, the host country earned crumbs. By the time profits come, government have changed, communities are still poor, accountability disappears. So, the debate is not just legal, it's generational. One thing missing from most press conferences is the Turkana voice. For years, Turkana residents have had promises. Jobs, roads, schools, security. Oil raised hope, but Kenya has a history of resource politics. Communities wait, elites negotiate, revenues vanish. The fear is simple. Will Turkana Oil develop Turkana or only Nairobi boardroom? Because oil without fairness does not bring peace, it brings conflict. Now here comes the uncomfortable question. Is Sifuna genuinely protecting public interests, or is this opposition politics? Is Ruto pushing development boldly or rushing a deal under pressure? Two things here can be true at once. Development can be necessary and a deal can still be flawed. History shows this. Kenya has signed deals before that looked good today and painful tomorrow. Turkana Oil is not just about barrels and contracts. It's about trust, transparency, and whether Kenya has learned from its past. The oil belongs to the people, but the details belong to the experts, lawyers, and politicians. And when the people don't understand the deal, that's when problems begin. So, I will leave you with this. If the deal is fair, why the secrecy? If the deal is good, why the fear of scrutiny? Because true development does not fear questions.